Hello, welcome back to my channel. This is Shauna. If you're new here, welcome, thank you. So as you can see, I'm still in the same shirt as another video that you will hopefully watch. But I wanted to film all these catch-up clips that I needed to add to all my videos because I am horrible and will film videos and not finish them and say I'm going to finish them and then it's like a month or two later. So I am filling all the clip-in videos now so that you can understand what these videos are gonna be about. So I'm gonna jump right in. So this video I filmed a while ago. It has been, I think a year, maybe longer. I would not be surprised if it was longer. But I still wanted to share it with you guys because I put a lot of effort into this. And also, I just wanted to share with you this whole bookstore journey that I went through, some of my favorite local bookstores that are up in Jacksonville. And I had such a good time filming it. So I wanted to share it with you guys. I couldn't just let it go to waste. So without further ado, I really hope you enjoy this video. Again, this was taken over a year ago. My hair looks different. I look different. I was going through a lot. I didn't have my job yet. So I sincerely apologize for that. But I really, really hope that you enjoyed this video and give it a thumbs up if you liked it, the subscribe button, all that info, all the good stuff. So I really hope you enjoy it and thanks for sticking around, guys.
What are you doing? What? You're crazy.
Hello everyone, it's Shauna. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. Thanks for joining. If you are a regular subscriber, welcome back. I appreciate you always coming back to watch my videos. As you can tell, I am not in my apartment. I am at home with my mom and dad. I came home to visit, but I wanted to film a quick video. I really wanted to take you guys to some of my favorite local bookshops here in the area. I grew up here, middle school and high school, so some of these are some that I'll take you to I've been to when I was growing up. Others are new, but I thought I'd take you with me on this fun little impromptu bookshop. Sophie is going crazy, if you couldn't already tell. Anyways, oh my goodness.
Sophie.
I may end up doing 3, may only be 2 shops that we go to. But either way, I just wanted to show you some of the local bookshops that I like to visit when I'm home. They are my favorite. I'm still trying to find some really, really good ones in Orlando. If anybody has any tips, if you are in the Orlando area and you know of great like used bookstores or local bookshops, please send them my way. Comment down below, send me a DM on Instagram, whatever, because I need to find a good, like really, really good one. You know, like these that I'm gonna be showing you in this video, I've been going to for years and years and years, and I absolutely love them. But I haven't really had that in Orlando as much. So I need to find me some good ones there too. So thought I'd take you guys with me. If you're ever in the Jacksonville, Amelia Island area, you can go visit some of these places, and I hope that you love them as much as I do. So without further ado, let's go book shopping. I'm sorry, but you can't come. No. You're not a service animal, so you can't come. They won't let you in. I'm sorry. So I just wanted to tell you the name of the first store we'll be visiting, and that is Story and Song Bookstore Bistro. This one is fairly new. I didn't go to this one in middle school and high school because it wasn't around just yet, but this one is on Amelia Island or Fernandina Beach, if you are familiar with either of those. It goes by both names, but it's on the island is what we call it, and it's a really cute little boutique bookstore, and it's absolutely adorable. They have a bistro, and so they serve food and coffee and tea and all kinds of stuff, and I've been there a couple of times now, but I recently just discovered it, and it's so the food is fabulous, and the tea was great, and I'm planning on getting some coffee while I'm there today and maybe trying to do some work. We'll see. The bookstore is really cute. It's locally owned, and it's just fabulous. So let's go. is another day. It is not the next day, but it is another day. And I'm gonna be heading to my favorite used bookstore of all time that I have ever been to. It is in Jacksonville, so it's gonna be a little bit of a drive, but it's okay because I'm actually heading back to Orlando today, so I'm gonna be passing right by it on my way down there. So let's go. Hello everyone. So as you can see, I am back at my apartment in Orlando. Things have been crazy. I ended up at Chamberlain's Book Mine for like an hour. I was there for a while and I still had to drive back to Orlando that same day, yesterday, in relation to me filming this. Yeah, I spent a lot more time there than I had originally planned, I guess. There was just a lot of health things with me going on this weekend and just a lot of craziness. So I ended up not leaving Jacksonville until later than I would have liked. So I didn't get back to Orlando until later than I would have liked. And I have had a ton of stuff to do for the agency and for new clients, and also trying to get new clients and reading manuscripts. So my life has been hectic, but I really needed this little break of going to the bookstore, and I got, again, way more books than I would have liked. But at the same time, like, I can never have enough books, so I'm okay with that. I want to do a quick little, just a very tiny kind of book haul for you, just like really impromptu, just to kind of show you what I got, because I have a really exciting one that I'm really excited to share with you. It's a really weird story, but I'm so excited. So let me show you what I got. I apologize if you can hear my washer and dryer going in the background because our laundry room is literally right there. And I have been trying to do laundry and catch up on chores since I got home. So just a quick little haul I got. So lately I have realized that I actually really love romance novels. I mean, not necessarily the super cheesy, like Christmas, Hallmark, kind of over the top romance, but more of like, just, I don't know. It's hard to explain. More like, you know, contemporary, upmarket kind of fiction, yeah, Taylor Jenkins Reid. I mean, like, you know, those kinds of women's novels and romance books. So I went to the romance section in Chamberlain's, and of course, as you could see from the clips that I gave you, that was only a brief like showing of how big that store actually is. So I went over to the romance section, and of course they have the romance sections separated even into different categories there. More of like erotica or paranormal romance or contemporary romance. So like they had a bunch of different sections, and I wanted to dive in. And I ended up getting a paranormal one. So I don't know, I have never heard anything about the series. I just saw it, it looked good. I think there's like 6 or 7 books in this series. I don't know, but we're gonna see how it goes. But I kind of had enough faith in it after like researching it online really, really quick when I found it, that I bought the first 3 books in this series. So the series itself is called a Vampire Huntress Legend series, and it is by L.A. Banks. So this is, I think this is the first one. And yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the first one. And then this is the second one is The Awakening, and then the third one is Hunted. So I just went ahead and got the first three. I don't know, I had a good feeling about it, so I just went ahead and picked them up because they're fairly small anyway. I mean, the writing is a little small on the page. I know it's kind of hard to do this with one hand, but I figured what the heck, they're super cheap. Chamberlain's is a used bookstore, and you know, they have really good prices on their books. So I just decided to get the first three because if I become hooked, I'm gonna wanna read them one right after the next. So I went ahead and did that. I also was in the poetry section at the front of the store, which is like the, you know, newest releases or the most popular books that are out now or, you know, have been popular for a while. Getting this poetry collection, She's Strong, But She's Tired by R.H. Sin. I don't believe I've read anything by this poet, but I've seen their work a lot, kind of everywhere. And just kind of glancing through, I really, really loved some of the poems I already read. So I wanted to pick this up, and it's a fairly decent size. So I don't know, I really, something drew me to it, and it sounded interesting and kind of like something I really needed right now. She's strong, but she's very tired. So that's my feeling right now, and that's what I wanted to get. So already, that's 4 books that I got from this store, and we have several more to go. Also went over to the young adult section. My sister, so surprisingly enough, I have never read a Jennifer Armentrout book, and I see her work everywhere on BookTube, Bookstagram, literally everywhere, and I've been dying to read some of her books. So my sister was actually, I visited with her this weekend as well. She stayed at my parents' house with us, and she was reading her newest book that just came out, so she was telling me all about it, and I immediately went over to the YA section of Chamberlain's and wanted to get a book of hers. They didn't have the most recent series out, so I wanted to start with like the Dark Elements series because I think that's one of her earliest series, is if I'm correct in that, based off of my brief research that I did. So I got the first book in that series, The White Hot Kiss, and this is just a used version, obviously, again, used bookstore. So you get fairly good prices on them. So I'm excited to read that and finally read one of her books. So this next one I got, if you guys have followed me for a while, you will know this rule I kind of have with myself that when I go, I mean, I kind of already covered it a little bit with the first series that I talked about, but I always try, if I'm at the bookstore and I'm either looking for a specific book or, you know, just randomly browsing, I always have a rule with myself to buy an author or a book that I have never heard of or haven't seen, but sounds interesting to me. So technically I already did that with the first series that I talked about, the romance, the paranormal romance series. But I mean, I did that again with the YA section. I just found this one and the cover was just gorgeous and the plot sounded really intriguing. So I was really excited about this one. It's called The Traitor's Kingdom by Erin Beatty. And it just, the cover is just gorgeous. Like this gold and all the beautiful flowers. It sounded good. So I'm excited about this one. Next one I got, okay, so I've actually already read this series, but throughout middle school and high school when I was reading super quickly, I had to purge a lot of books throughout high school. And Chamberlain's is actually the bookstore that I would go to resell all of my old books. So I have read this series before, but I remember it being really good. And I saw it there again and decided, you know what, I want to reread the series and I want to get a copy back. So I picked this up, Wicked Lovely by Melissa Marr. This is about fairies and the fae, and just, it's so good. Like this series, I just remember the series being really good. I don't remember all of the details with it. I don't even remember the characters' names, but I just remember reading this. I'm pretty sure the first book was a gift to me from a friend for like a birthday or something. She got me this book and I fell in love with the series. So I really wanted to pick it back up, and I saw that they had a copy there. So I just went ahead and grabbed another one. The next one is actually an author I have read before, and I absolutely loved this book that she wrote. And it's called Revolution, and it's by Jennifer Donnelly. And that book is one of my favorite books of all time. It's so good. And I have not read anything else by this author, I had realized, because I found a section of hers in the YA section. And I saw this one called A Northern Light, and I was like, you know what? I haven't read anything else by this author, and I really want to, because I loved Revolution. So I wanted to read this, and she writes a lot of, or at least with Revolution, it's like very historical type fiction, and this is, I believe, along the same lines. It's set in 1906 against the backdrop of the murder that inspired Theodore Dreiser's An American Tragedy. So it weaves romance, history, and a murder mystery into something moving, real, and wholly original. So I love her writing style. So I wanted to read something else of hers, and this sounded really good. So next one I got is, you guys know I have been reading Shadow and Bone and all of the thing, like Six of Crows, Crooked Kingdom, everything. And I have not picked up Rule of Wolves yet. So I got it. And I did not realize how fat this book is. Like, this is thick. But I am so excited to read this because I've still yet to watch all of the show. I've only watched the first episode because I was trying to watch it with Tony, but his work schedule is kind of crazy right now. So he told me to go ahead and watch it by myself. So I'm going to. I've just been, like I said, this weekend especially was crazy, and work has been crazy. I've been trying to get so much stuff done that I haven't had time to even watch it by myself. But I'm so excited about Rule of Wolves. It's the next book in after King of Scars in that series. So I really wanted to pick that up. That was the only new book that I got from the used bookstore. So that was the only one that wasn't. It's discounted at Chamberlain's, the new ones, but they're not obviously as discounted as some of the used books or the a little bit more tattered kind of books. Okay, so this last one is the one I was talking about earlier. That is a very funny, very weird kind of story. And okay, so I mentioned before that I used to purge a lot of my books at this particular used bookstore. And as you can tell from the clips, they just have thousands upon thousands, if not millions of books in this used bookstore. Like the halls just go on and on and on. And they have stacks, like stacked up on the floor, things stacked up on the toppest of the shelf. So they go from like the floor to the ceiling, like stacks and stacks of books. And I used to purge a lot of my books there and resell them and either get store credit or get cash for my older books. I'm sorry, my air conditioner just kicked on as well, so I'm now battling a bunch of background noise. I apologize. This is what I get for impromptu filming. But so I used to purge a lot of my books at this bookstore. And also in high school, I know there was like a trend going on, and I think it's starting to come back a little bit more. But the first like couple books that I ever read in like a poetic kind of verse format was Crank and all of those types of books. So I remember that being like a huge trend in my middle school and high school years. And I think it's officially starting to come back, like with Elizabeth Acevedo's book, or her books. I have not read any of her books yet, but I really want to. I've heard such great things about them. But anyway, so a lot of these books were written in verse, and I used to love that. And this book in particular, like all of these books actually, I would do post-it notes and like sticky notes inside the books whenever I read something. And even in like regular novels and series and stuff, I would do this. I would just, if I loved something that much and felt so strongly about something, I would put sticky notes on those specific pages, or In the case of, books written in verse, I would do it on a particular poem or a particular phrasing that spoke to me. So many of my books that I would take to Chamberlain's would be covered in sticky notes. And most of the time I would try to take them out before I brought them to the bookstore. But once in a while I wouldn't. And, it was just something that, I figured if I happen to not take them out, well, I'm sure the bookstore will, because, they're going through all of these books, I'm sure they'll take those out. Well, the last time I went to Chamberlain's, this was like maybe 2 months ago now, I saw this book that I used to own, and I remembered the cover, I remembered the book. I didn't remember everything that happened in the book, but I remembered having read it. I remember that much. And so I saw the book and was like, oh, that's so cute. Like, I remember having this book. And I do that a lot within Chamberlain's because, many of these books are like older and, ones that used to be popular back in like my middle school and high school days. And so I saw it and just kind of laughed to myself, oh, whatever. But then I see sticky notes sticking out of the top of it. And I'm like, that seems very familiar. And so I started picking it up and I realized it was my same copy that I had sold to Chamberlain's back in high school. So this probably would have been, oh my God, like 2009, 2010 when I did this. More than likely that I like sold this book to Chamberlain's. So that's like what, like 11, 12 years ago that I would have like sold this book to Chamberlain's. And I was just baffled. So I took a picture of it and I just laughed at it. I didn't buy it at the time because I was on a tight budget and I'm just like, no, I don't, I didn't want to buy it at the time for some reason. I just was like, you know what? If it's here when I come back, I'll get it. Well, I went back there into the YA section and looked and looked and looked for this book. And I found another copy of it, but it was a paperback copy and not a hardback. And it didn't have sticky notes in it. So I knew for a fact it wasn't mine because I knew mine was hardback and it had sticky notes in it. So I looked all over for this book and didn't find it. So I was like, okay, it wasn't meant to be then. I wasn't meant to get it. Lo and behold, the last section I go through, I look one last time in this tiny section and it's there. And I was just so taken aback that this book, I am like 99% sure this was my copy that I had in high school. Which just, I don't know, it just kind of blew my mind. I don't know, I had to get it at this point. Like, it was still there 12 years later. Holy crap, what? I don't know. So it's called Chasing Brooklyn and it's by Lisa Schroeder. And this book is written in verse. And again, I don't remember anything that happened in this book, but these are the sticky notes that I myself put in them. Like, and I know many of you will probably think like, okay, well, a lot of people put sticky notes in their books, but like, I know for a fact this had to have been mine because I did use different colors, like just whatever I had randomly, whatever I first grabbed, because I just wanted to I just wanted to tab it really quickly as I was reading it. So I don't know. I knew it was, and I flipped through to the sticky notes when I was in the bookstore to see which ones I tabbed. And I obviously don't remember exactly what I tabbed, but reading it again, I'm like, I'm fairly certain I would have noted this. Even though like I have changed and everything, and it probably won't speak to me the same way that it did in high school, but like, I'm fairly certain, like I said, I'm like 99% sure this is my old copy. And for some reason, it was meant to come back into my life. So that's my little TED Talk for the day. I know it's really random and kind of dumb, but I found so much excitement and joy in that. I just wanted to share it with you guys. But on that note, I'm going to end this vlog of book shopping. I hope you enjoyed. No, I didn't show a whole lot of, great footage of like complete walkthroughs of the bookstores, but I'm trying to keep people's privacy as well. I don't want other people in my videos if they don't give me explicit permission first, and especially the bookstore. Just a weird girl walking around filming the whole bookstore is kind of odd, so I was just trying to get as much as possible to show you guys why I love these bookstores, why they become some of my favorite. I mentioned Chamberlain's is an old favorite of mine. It's been around for ages, long before me, but they actually have another location opened up in downtown Jacksonville if you guys are in the area. I haven't visited it yet, but it recently opened, I'm fairly certain, and I know they have a cafe inside that recently opened, so you guys should definitely check it out if you're interested. Definitely check out the location that I visited, their main location in Jacksonville. Definitely look into that if you're in the area or passing through, because I promise you, it's worth your time. It's so worthwhile. And the other bookstore that I visited in Fernandina on Amelia Island, they are fantastic. They're fantastic people who own the bookstore. They're locals of the island, and they're just fabulous people. And everyone who works in that bookstore is fantastic. So definitely check these out. Support your local bookstores. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below if you have a favorite independent bookstore that you like to visit, or any used bookshops that you like to visit that are in your area. If I'm ever traveling again, I will one day, but just, with COVID right now, it's a little hard. But I would love to visit one day. I'm always trying to visit new and unique bookstores, just anything local, because I love supporting local businesses too. So let me know down in the comments below if you guys have a favorite bookstore. I'd love to hear from you. And I hope that you enjoyed this impromptu little vlog that I made, and enjoyed book shopping with me. And I hope you guys are all doing well, and I will see you in my next video very soon.